Hi, this is The Greatest Story Ever Played. I'm Dan.
I'm Jordan.
And today we are going to talk about Suffer the Children, Episode 2 from Telltale: The Walking Dead, the final season.
Yep, so jumping in, the description of this episode is, in the aftermath of a single tragic moment, Clementine must manage the fallout and repair her bond with AJ if she hopes to salvage their future. But something in the woods threatens everything. Something more than just walkers.
Okay. I guess just as a warning before we get into the episode, where we break down choices people made, there weren't stats at the end of this episode, so we just decided to highlight a couple questions that we figured might be the ones that would show up, but we won't actually have percentages like normal because the game didn't have them.
Weird.
Yeah. So, cold open is you get this back and forth of Clementine with AJ in their room the day after Marlon gets shot, and then the night Marlon gets shot, and the kids freaking out and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're all pretty hurt or pissed or both.
Right, and it's cool because I really like this. I really like the way this was done. You're bouncing back and forth, and you see a part where AJ asks if he's a murderer or not, and you hear Lewis yelling at him, "You're a murderer, you killed him."
Yeah.
He gave up and you killed him. And so AJ ends up asking if he's a murderer. Clementine gives some advice, whatever. But before this is going on too, 10, he comes in and invites them to go to the funerals for Marlon and Brody. Violet said to invite them.
Mm-hmm.
So they decide to go. And while they're there, all the kids are, for the most part, mad that they showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And that you killed Marlon, you can't come to his funeral kind of thing. And Mitch puts forth that they should vote on whether they should kick AJ and Clementine out. And the other kids ultimately agree that's a good idea, and they get sent back to their room. But through this, you get kind of multiple instances where you can either tell AJ what you did was a good thing, Marlon was bad, or it was not good, and he should not have killed him.
Mm-hmm.
It is murder or whatever. So you get this opportunity, and it kind of gets reinforced. There's a couple times where AJ responds based off what you told him, where you can defend AJ or say otherwise, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of the question we came here was, what did you tell AJ about killing Marlon? For me, I said that Lewis is right. It was murder, but we can make it right.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I said. You murdered him, but we can atone. I can help you atone for it. We can atone for it. Whatever. Yeah, I guess why I thought this was important was because Marlon he was really bad. He should have, at the very least, probably not been there or been a prisoner or whatever. But at the same time, you can't have AJ going around killing people, no matter what. Kill people that are bad objectively, but, Marlon had given up at this point. He wasn't really a threat necessarily.
Right.
So it seems like he has to know the difference, even though it sucks to communicate that to a 6 or 7-year-old that you murdered somebody.
Right. Yeah, that's how I felt too, because it was he was bad, but he'd given up, and we should have decided. But then also the other side of murder's different now.
Yeah.
The world's different now, so we don't do it the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah, it was I was trying to find the balance between defending AJ, because I feel like the kids were pretty quick to just forget about everything that Marlon had done and just get pissed at AJ for killing him. It's no, you can't just gloss over the fact that he basically, for all intents and purposes, murdered 2 of 10's 2 sisters and murdered Brody.
Right.
So he's also a murderer. So but you're not even mad about that. It's just
yeah, it seemed like he was atoned himself. Now that he's dead, it was anything Marlon did's fine, which is
yeah. No, he was
a bad guy.
He was really bad.
He wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
Stay with us on Clem wrote in and said, I told him he was justified. It's just me and AJ versus the world, baby. So, Team AJ.
Yep. We got Chris on Twitter says that it's okay to kill when just, which I would agree with. And that's kind of why, you have to let him know it's murder, but you will have to kill people again, and you should not hesitate necessarily.
Right. Yeah. After this, Clem and AJ, they end up back at the room, and Violet and Lewis come back to them to tell them that we've been kicked out. sorry, you're done. Basically, we got to kick you out. It was the vote. And they...
Did you fight this at all when you played?
Not the first time. I played twice the first time. I didn't fight it, and Violet was kind of mad that I didn't fight it.
Yeah, that's how I did too.
The second time I tried to fight it a little bit, and it was basically just had to be mean to Lewis.
Yeah.
Because you obviously knew when they came in that was how they voted.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell Violet was for you, and Lewis was not.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't fight at all. I was like, all right, fuck you guys. Good luck.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, all right, I get why you had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't mean, but I was just kind of like, yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. So they escorted us out to the road, and we're walking. And there's still more tenseness on the road. Lewis is trying to act like it's not a big deal. They're kicking us out, and we're like, yeah, it is. You might cause us to die.
Yeah. He's like, it's not that bad out there. It's like, you've never been out there, dude.
Right. Yeah. So we kind of I pushed back on him there because I was like, fuck you, dude.
Me too.
But he did give us a gun at the end, which was cool of him to give. Did you give AJ's gun?
Oh, fuck no. I kept it. I'll let AJ keep it because it was his.
I give it back because I figured that maybe he'd give it back to us, but just as a good token. I tried to do that, but then we got it back anyway. So then we're on the road, we're walking for a little bit, and we get ambushed by Abel and his group.
Yeah.
So they attack us, and once we get at a spot where we are getting ready to knife Abel, and someone comes up behind us with a gun to our head.
Yeah.
And then AJ pulls his gun, but meanwhile Abel is able to put his gun on AJ. So it's kind of a we might all go out situation.
Yeah.
When we're captured, the person from behind us, we turn around, and it's Lily.
Yeah.
From season 1.
Bum bum bum.
Yeah. Which was cool.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'd forgotten about her too.
Yeah, with her, because we kicked her out.
Yeah,
of
when
the
we
van
played.
Back.
Yeah, because she killed Carly.
Yeah.
And her dad was super racist, terrible.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sucked. Lily shows up, and we kind of have this moment where it's recounting history a little bit. So she's kind of well, Clementine, it was sort of positive and sort of not.
Yeah.
She was sort of oh, you're here, that's cool, but then also kind of shit on Lee, and we're no, you're not doing that.
Yeah, no.
And as we're being captured from the distance, Violet and Lewis observe us being captured, which is where kind of our second decision comes up.
Yeah. So at this point, so Violet and Lewis are in the bushes and trees kind of behind Lily and Abel, and they have I think they have bow and arrows ready to attack. So you can either yell at them shoot Carl or shoot Lily or run away. And I chose to tell them, well, the first time I played, I didn't say anything to see what would happen. And what happens is I think you end up dying regardless. Lily starts shooting at them, and I think they end up running away, and then Lily turns and just shoots you in the face.
Oh.
So I did that at first to see what would happen, but then after that I told them to run away.
I did the same thing. I told them to run away. I figured that I'd want them to be safe. And again, the way I'd played so far before this is I tried to play in a I get it way, and I care about you guys, and I see why you'd kick us out kind of thing. So I didn't go hostile with them. So I was I want them to get out of this, even if we get captured.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I felt too. I wasn't. I get why they kicked us out, but I also think it's stupid because Marlon was bad and whatever.
Right.
So I just didn't think they would have actually been able to do anything against Lily and Abel because they had bow and arrows and they had guns. It's just run away. This will be maybe at some point we'll be able to go back to the community if we get out of this because we showed that we still care about them. That was kind of my thought.
Yeah. Alyssa on Twitter, she wrote in and said, shoot, if I was going to bring attention to them, I would rather they be defending themselves than just putting themselves in a position to be shot. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're going to get seen.
Yep. Alicia on Twitter, of course run. I always try to seek out an outcome where no one gets hurt or dies. That makes sense too.
Yeah. Chris on Twitter, shoot.
Mikaran on Twitter, shoot.
And then stay with us, Clem on Twitter, shoot, because I know Lily.
Yeah.
A lot of shooters.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised where they... So I didn't really get the point, why not just let them get closer and then maybe get into a spot where they could have a clear shot at taking them out? It seemed kind of like a rash thing to yell at them at all.
Yeah. Did, I forget what happens when we tell them to run away. Does anyone get hurt?
No, they
No?
just run. Yeah.
If you tell them to shoot, Lewis gets shot in the shoulder.
Yeah, if they just run. Yeah,
Okay.
if you say nothing also, Lewis gets shot in the shoulder too.
Okay.
But you still die, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, if you say shoot, he gets shot in the shoulder also.
Yeah, I think Lily gets hit though too.
Yeah, I think she gets an arrow in the side if you shoot.
Arrow to the knee.
Yeah, an arrow to the knee.
Yeah.
I used to be an adventurer.
Oh yeah.
All right. So after this diversion roughly happens, if you yell run away, they look away for a second and you get a chance to run.
Mm-hmm.
Clem and AJ run away. As they're running, AJ gets shot in the side, which is pretty wild.
Yep.
Right here for a minute, I was like, "Oh my god, they're killing off AJ in episode 2."
Quick.
Yeah, like that was pretty surprising. AJ gets shot in the side, but you keep running. You end up running into this herd of walkers, so Lily and Abel have to deal with them, and you're able to escape.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get in a spot where you get a lot of walker combat going on.
I died here a bunch.
Yeah, I died here a little bit, and then later on when there was walker fighting.
Yeah.
And I was like, man.
They just sneak up on you. It's hard.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't believe this is like, we play lots of games that have much harder combat systems, but this one I'm able to just die a lot sometimes.
There's something about it, man, because it's so slow and like.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's it, as your functionality. Like, you can't move as much and all that. You can't, like, run. So, yeah, died here a bit, but kill these walkers, and then you're getting ready to knife this walker, and it's a guy in a walker costume, or a walker skins, and he, like, grabs a knife, and he's like, shh, I'll draw them away, and you're like, what?
Yeah, like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, what is happening? He does, though. He, like, walks behind the walkers and then throws a rock behind them, and they all turn around, and he walks back to you and helps you.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes you and AJ to safety, where his camp is, and you have to take some buckshot out of AJ's side.
Yeah. This reminded me of, was it?
You had to sew a dog wound? Like a dog bit you and you had to sew your arm?
Yeah, was
right?
that season 1?
I feel like it was 2.
You're probably right. But yeah, that reminded me of that, which sucked.
Yeah, I remember having to do that, and that was super gross.
Yeah.
I really didn't like that.
Yep. This was this game's version of that.
Yeah, exactly. I was impressed that, again, they can gross us out for being like a game that looks like this. Like,
Yeah.
it's not exceptionally gross, but then still doing this, you're like, ugh.
Yeah, I didn't want to do
Barf.
it. Yep.
We discover, talking with this guy, that his name is James, and that he was a part of a group called the Whisperers,
Yeah.
which was interesting. So he's a part of this group of a bunch of other people who dress up like walkers like him. They wear walker skins and just walk with herds.
Yeah.
And sometimes lead them places and shit like that.
Sounds really weird.
Yeah, definitely a weird group of people. You also see that he cares about walkers. There's a part where there's a walker that comes by and he asks you to distract it rather than kill it.
Yeah.
And
Did you distract it or kill it?
I distracted it.
Yeah, me
'cause
too.
He helped me. So
Yeah, and you seemed like you knew what he was talking about.
yeah, I was kind of like, we're on your turf. Well, I mean, my personal rule is I think you probably should kill all walkers you see, because like
Yeah.
I don't want to get killed by one I didn't kill at one point. Like,
Yep.
you should just always kill them when it's safe to.
Or someone else would get killed by it.
Right.
That's not bad.
Right. So that's kind of my normal philosophy, but, he saved us and we're at his camp and stuff. I'll play by his rules.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Also, I didn't trust him yet. I was like, I don't want to piss him off.
Right. But you can tell he cares about them. He told us to do that. He also was like, I sent the walkers to save you, but I didn't want to get them hurt, basically.
Yeah.
Which is weird. You haven't really run into that. On the TV show Fear the Walking Dead, there have been characters who are like that. It's weird. On the main show that you don't really get that, but...
You had Herschel for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, he thought the walkers were people.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Fool.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, in Fear, there's a little while where it was like there were people who thought it was basically like spirits. They were in Mexico for a while, so it was like Dia de los Muertos kind of thing. So they had kind of a weird spiritual feel to walkers like he does, kind of, which was different. You don't really see that a lot in Walking Dead.
No, not at all.
So kind of interesting meeting this guy. He tells us, though, that Lily's group is at war with another community up north. And what they do is they kidnap kids, which I can't imagine there's actually a lot of kids to kidnap. But
Probably just kidnap people.
Yeah.
Kids included.
Yeah. I guess kids would be ideal because you can raise child soldiers or whatever.
Yep.
But, kidnap people and make them fight in this war up north. which makes me wonder if it's like Rick and company.
Yeah.
That is fighting this group. That could make sense because I think we're in Virginia somewhere. I'm not 100%.
I can't remember.
But I think we are. Because at least in A New Frontier, the game before this, they were like Richmond, which that's in Virginia.
Yeah,
so
you're right. They're probably close to that.
Yeah, and DC's where like they are. So, yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of wild. I don't think we'd get to see any of those people, but
No, especially not now.
yeah, but it's kind of wild that because I think that anyway, with how old Clementine is versus when it started. I mean, this game's ahead of probably everything Walking Dead, like ahead of the comics or the show or anything like that. Because
she's
Clementine was AJ's age, and now she's like a teenager.
Yeah, she might be like 15, 16 even.
Right, and if she was 7 or something or 8 when the game started, like that would put it ahead of everything, really.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you could have them in it anyway, but I kind of like that it's a nod that it's like
Yeah,
it's
could be.
It's probably Rick and company. After this, though, James guides Clem and AJ back to the school, which was cool with him again. I did think it was a little silly that he had his walker skin as he got closer.
Yeah,
like,
I was like, you're going to get fucking shot, dude.
Right, if Willie wasn't a worse shot.
Yeah, he'd be dead.
Yeah, he would be dead. That seemed a little dumb. It seems like you should have took your hat off, but whatever. Get you back to school, but Clementine's like super fatigued, and she's like falls on the ground with AJ, but Lewis comes out and carries AJ in, and Clem goes inside.
Yep.
At this point, we are back at the school, and Ruby works on AJ, cleans him up a bit, which was cool, and Violet pulls Clementine into the other room to discuss what's going on. She says that people are scared, people don't know what to do anymore, like it was a big deal kicking you out, and now that you're back, they still are confused.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yep.
And she also says that the vote was 5-3 for them leaving or staying. So this made me wonder, who do you think voted for them to stay?
Violet for sure, 10 for sure, and I bet Ruby.
Ruby?
Yeah, I would assume Ruby. I don't know who else.
I was thinking maybe a Sim voted for us.
Maybe.
Because Ruby seemed to warm up to us as the episode goes on. We'll see.
Yeah, that's true.
I was thinking
later.
maybe a Sim, because if you went hunting with him, there was that. But even like when they were all arguing, he kind of seemed like, what? You can't like...
Yeah, that could be it.
So I kind of wonder if it might be him. I don't know if it is, but...
Yeah.
Because you'd think... So Mitch definitely voted against you.
Lewis probably.
Lewis did. I would think Willie would do what Mitch did.
Yep.
We don't know enough about Omar, so he's kind of wild card.
Yeah, I would assume
Who else is left?
Ruby.
And Ruby. Yeah, so... Ruby, Sim, Omar? One of them?
Yeah.
I guess, and then the other two... Yeah, that would make sense. So one of those 3 voted for you. The other 2 voted no. Mitch, Willie, and Lewis voted no.
Yeah, I bet you're probably right. Sim was probably the one that did it. He seemed the most level-headed.
Yeah.
And as we'll see, we interact with Ruby later in this episode, but before that, I mean, there was AJ bit her hand, like,
right.
And then apologized, and she seemed okay, but I don't think it'd be probably not enough for her to be like, oh yeah, I trust you guys.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That was our vote, 5-3 though. And so then Violet and Clementine make plans to fortify the school. We're going to, put barbed wire around the fence. We're going to set up kind of flip tables and set up some cover for us when they get in the doors. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to have kind of a last stand inside the schoolhouse where we'll have some traps and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Sounds good. So our first mission is to go to the greenhouse to go get the barbed wire to help with our fortifications. So Clem, Mitch, and Ruby go to do it. Mitch gets ordered to go by Violet because he's a good fighter, and they're worried about the greenhouse being overrun by walkers. Mm-hmm. And Ruby volunteers to go kind of as a go-between to keep the peace, which was cool for her. Since she's kind of the doctor of sorts for them, I'm surprised she'd choose to go on any fighting mission. So
yeah, it seems kind of dumb to let her go.
Yeah, but I'm glad she went. So we go inside. We end up finding barbed wire. While we're there, we find some fertilizer, which Mitch says he can use to make bombs.
Hell yeah.
Which I was like, all right, you're
Pyromaniac,
all right. Yeah. I'm all right with you.
And at this point, Mitch was seeming to kind of warm up with us too. Like he was talking to us about like the bombs and was kind of excited. You know, random stuff like that.
Right, and when you've like killed some walkers, he's like, "Oh, good work." Or when you find an igniter, he's like excited that you're like, "Hey, is this a thing?" And he's like, "Oh yeah," and he's excited about it. And it was a good way for like us to let him feel cool about having a good plan and get behind him.
Yeah.
And see that we're like valuable to defending the school. That we're not like we don't suck or we're not like I volunteered to go up on the ladder.
Me too.
And was like, yeah, sure. I want to earn my spot, kind of thing. So you do that. When they get inside the science lab, they find a walker of Mrs. Martin, who was the nurse of the school, and she'd helped the kids. Apparently, Ruby's telling us that she was the only adult that stayed once everything went down.
That's pretty shitty.
Yeah, come on, adults.
Yeah.
They all jet except for her, and she ends up getting bit by a walker on a greenhouse expedition, and like did something so all the kids could escape.
It looks like she handcuffed herself to something so she wouldn't wander off and attack them.
Yeah, also cool. Like she saved them and then prevented herself from hurting them.
Yep.
You end up putting her down for Ruby because Ruby can't. Then you have an opportunity here where Ruby wants to bury Miss Martin, or you can say, no, let's just go back. And Mitch wants to like burn her.
Yeah.
So I helped bury her.
Yeah.
It seemed like a good way to get someone on your side. And I'd rather have a rational, reasonable person with Ruby than like convincing Mitch, who's been kind of an asshole, to be on my side. Like I'm kind of like, we'll probably work out okay with Mitch, but this is a good opportunity to get Ruby on Team Clem.
Yeah, I felt the same way. And also, I mean, it probably took like an hour to bury her. It's like, big deal, whatever. It's not you don't lose much by burying her versus burning her, so it doesn't really matter. Mitch just seemed more like, it's a walker, fuck it.
Yeah.
But to me, it was like, it's worth helping Ruby once. Why not?
Right, yeah.
She also saved AJ.
Right. Yeah, you better do right. And even through this, there's been a lot of, why do we have funerals? What are they for? And it's like, just holding that, like, people do matter kind of thing. And, like, you should remember the good ones at least. And you shouldn't just kill them cause.
Yeah, I agree.
Or whatever, just burn them or whatever. After this, it flips 2 weeks forward, which was interesting.
I was surprised by.
Yeah, I liked that. And it kind of showed, like, AJ and Clem walking around in the room and sleeping, basically. And in this time, we see Clementine have a nightmare about the ranch, which looked pretty creepy. I liked that. There's like a horse walking around, and it looks like fire, and you hear screaming and crying, which I'm thinking is baby AJ.
It sounded like it, yeah. Or it seemed like it.
Yeah, probably baby AJ. You end up talking to AJ about your nightmare and about his, because he was also up and was like on the dresser with a knife.
Yeah, I was
hanging
like,
out.
you about to jump out there? What are you doing?
Weird. After this, you're with Violet, and she asks you to go kind of check on everyone and see if they're doing stuff. You end up getting to bond with Lewis while doing some archery. That was nice. He was more level-headed, and I felt like could empathize with him. Like, yeah, it sucks that your best friend got killed. And he's like, yeah, it does. But also, like, he was good at one point, but then he wasn't.
Yeah, it seemed like a good kind of bury the hatchet. I forgive you for being crazy and kicking us out, but also understand where you're coming from.
Right. Yeah, him being upset makes sense. More than anyone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you get that. That was positive. You talk with Mitch about his bomb for a second. He hasn't quite figured it out, but you were able to kind of be like, I believe in you. It's cool. You check on 10 and AJ on watch duty. It was brief, and they were like, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
The end. After this, you have Willie and Sim argue over what traps they wanted to set in the dorm. Or Willie wants to do like a log. Like
a log smash thing.
A log smash thing, and Sim wants to drop bricks on people. I said Sim.
Yeah, me too.
It made more sense to me. So I chose that, but Willie didn't like it and punched Sim and left.
Yep.
So Lewis steps in and he's like, you know what we need? We need to relax. Everyone should calm down. So game night number 2, which was fun. It was a good call by Lewis, I would say. And what he ends up doing is truth or dare with cards. High card gets to ask, low card has to answer, kind of thing. So you get a variety of things. You get Mary Fuck Kill.
Yeah.
Or Flip.
Yeah, Mary Flip Kill.
Flip Kill, which was funny. You had Ruby, Asim, and James for yours. So I forget which order. I had Ruby and Asim as my Mary and Flip, and I killed James because James wasn't there. So I thought that, to promote camaraderie, that's what I would do.
That's exactly what I did too.
Did you?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was probably best since no one knows James. That seemed better.
Yeah, kill him.
I like James and he's really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And in a real situation, I'd probably choose him over them. But since he's not there, not part of our bonding, didn't need to.
Yeah, he gets killed.
Yeah. You get to dare Asim to ask Ruby for a kiss or kiss a walker.
I did Ruby.
I did Ruby also. She doesn't like it.
She smacks him.
Yeah. On my other playthrough, he kisses a walker's head, though. I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was nasty.
Yeah.
There are two other questions. I don't remember what they are. One of them is if you like anyone.
Yeah. Kids.
Yeah, which I just said kind of like, not your business, basically.
Yeah, that's what I said. And then they move off of you.
Yeah. They move off of you. It kind of ends that way. I think that might be there. I think there's another question or two, but I don't remember what they are offhand.
They weren't crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those were the two bigger ones.
Yeah. After this, we're kind of like, all right, ready. All right, we can get back to work. Asim goes and talks to Willie. They kind of make up, and Willie decides to help Asim with the brick thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. And Asim's like, oh, that was a good punch. Like they reconcile. Ruby's on watch, and AJ's gonna go join her. And then you end up in a spot where Violet and Lewis both have additional projects they want to do, essentially. And they're going separate ways, and you can choose who you want to spend extra time with helping on their project.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose Violet. You'd bonded with her. I've bonded with her the most through this whole thing. And so that's the route I went. And I felt like me and Lewis were cool, but if I was going to spend more time with someone, I chose Violet.
Yeah,
Violet.
Same. She has been on our side the whole time, with no reason to do so. And Lewis, there was that period where he was like, fuck you, get out of here. So I just felt Violet was more on our team, so it made more sense to help her.
Yeah.
And her thing seemed like an actual project too, where Lewis is like gonna fuck around with the piano or something.
Yeah, I got the vibe that Violet's would be also potentially more important.
Yeah.
Of a for our defense thing, versus Lewis's seemed like it'd just be something that was only fun, or whatever, which isn't bad, but I was kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna go with Violet.
Yep.
Casual Run Gaming wrote in, and they said, I went with Lewis. His playfulness and ability to play the piano were what got me. So.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, definitely.
Daniel says Violet.
And then Dave on Twitter said Violet, of course. We made up constellations. Lewis is kind of annoying, in my opinion. Also, by Clementine.
Yeah.
Yeah, which you end up seeing. So, I guess I'll explain what happens to both of them. So, mild spoiler alert if for some reason you don't want to know this.
Yeah.
But I guess that this whole thing's been spoilers. So
Yep.
I guess whatever. Doesn't matter.
You're already screwed.
So, with Violet, you end up going to the watchtower. You get to see a view of the whole school, which was cool. And then she takes you off to this other ledge that shows you this cool view. She says she likes to come here to just get away from it all and be in some quiet kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Then you end up... Oh, she talked about chicken nuggets for a second. That was awesome.
Yep.
And then you end up making up some constellations with her. So you see a fish...
A bird.
And a knife.
Yeah.
And with them you get to ascribe... okay, this is the fish, and the fish's personality is blah, 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 and then you get to say who they're like.
Yeah.
So, I think one of them I said was me, and one of them I said was her.
Yeah,
and
me
then
too.
The bird was like, oh, we could, fly away from here. We all want to fly away, or something. That was kind of how I interpreted that.
Yeah.
That's good. She says you're back. You get this option of, you can either friend zone Violet, or you can go for something more.
Mm-hmm.
I went for something more. I just went for it.
Oh, did you? I just friend zoned her.
Yeah, I went I went for more, and then I went for the kiss, too. So, yeah. So you can double go. So if you go friend zone, you're just like, I'm really glad you're a great friend. Cool.
Yeah, and she reacts totally normal to that.
Totally normal.
Mm-hmm.
If you go for I like you more than that, you end up having a couple options. You can go I don't know what I want, but I know I like you. You can kind of go, I like you, but I want to take it slow. You can go, I want to be girlfriends. Or you can go for the kiss. All of them she's responsive to.
Okay, cool.
So she's into any of them. And on some of them, she'll hold your hand in response. And,
Ooh.
yeah. When you kiss her, she's like, holy shit. And Clem's like, that's romantic. And she's like, no, I mean, holy shit. So it's funny. So bonding, all there. That's good. Whatever you do, then Ruby calls you down for guard duty. And go do that. So, cool. Did that with Lewis. Instead, you go and play piano with him. Or, well, he plays piano. You go do that. He ends up asking you to help him tune it. And so you're, like, doing some things. And he kind of fucks with you, of course. But it's playful. It's positive. He ends up making up a song. And that's fine. And then, same-wise, you get the friend or go for more option here. If you friend it, then he makes up the song some other name. If you go for it, then it's kind of a, like, oh, I named the song Clementine after you or something like that. It's pretty like you or whatever. And then also you get kind of the same option, like, oh, I want a boyfriend. I want to take it slow. You can kiss him or something else. I want a boyfriend, whatever. That kind of thing. A funny part that's in this is if you're with him, you like carve your initials on the piano, and then you can carve a heart around it if you want. And he's like, "What is that? A potato?" Like, so that's kind of funny. He gets like super awkward and nervous.
I bet.
And he's like, "I like never thought you'd like me. Oh my god, you like me!" Like it's pretty funny. So you can kind of go either way. Either way, result of this is nice. You have bonding with either one of these people even more, whether you're a good friend and I'm really glad you're here or I want to date you. So that's cool. And kind of like that they gave you that variety of options, both in that it could be Violet or Lewis and it could be good friend or date. That's kind of fun. Interesting change on how the game has been so far or whatever. So that's cool. After this, you're on watch duty. AJ and Clementine see the raiders coming, and you have a brief standoff. Or, well, I guess when you see them coming, you see probably like 5, 6, 8 people. Like, there's a chunk of people. Because there's some who don't come in. Like, there was a sniper in one of the...
Yeah, up in the tree.
Up in the tree. And then there's maybe 4 or 5 that come inside, actually.
Yeah.
Something like that. So you can see them coming. They also have horse-drawn carts that they're going to throw you in and take you away as prisoners in, basically. And I guess I'll describe the battle, and then we can talk about how the battle went, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Because I've got some gripes with it.
Yep, fair.
So you have this brief standoff. So you put a bunch of furniture up against the gate, making that the only way in. They end up burning the furniture, and then they kick in the gate, and they come in. And you have kind of this brief standoff where Clementine stands up with her weapon pointed at Lily and is like, leave, go away. And Lily's like, no, I'm here to take all the kids. Where are they? And you end up saying, no, just take me. Or, well, I said that.
That's what I said, too.
You can say other things, but I was like, no, just take me. Let the other kids go. I think, again, trying to show these kids I'm on their team, I care about them and stuff. And I mean, I guess if I got captured, I would, because I guess I'd rather AJ be safe there than all of us get captured or in a battle, maybe. If you actually had to do it. But that goes on. Then Lily has a pretty good tactic she plays, in that Minnie and Sophie, or she only talks about Minnie. She doesn't talk about Sophie. So,
could be dead.
Yeah, I suspect she's dead. Says, oh, Minnie talked about how much she loved this place. She said she had a brother she really cared about. She said she had a girlfriend, Violet. A guy who could always make her laugh, Lewis, like talking about all these friends. And you kind of see them all and they're like kind of considering, like, oh man, Minnie. Which, that makes sense. I get that. 10, though, buys it and goes for it. And he comes out and he's like, is she okay? And Lily uses this point to kind of capture him and put a gun to his head. At this point, Mitch, meanwhile, sneaks over and puts his pipe bomb inside one of the carts. You wait for it to go off. It does, which is great. It causes some disarray, and shit starts to go down. And so 10's able to escape from Lily a little bit, and Mitch runs in to, either fight Lily or try to help 10. Either way, it didn't work out. He gets a knife into his neck
Immediately.
From Lily immediately, and then gets stabbed in the head. Gonzo.
What a fool.
Yeah, he fucked that up.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, I like the sentiment that he cared about someone else, maybe. Unless he was just trying to kill her, in which case he was only foolish. But I like to think he was trying to help 10.
Yeah, it seems weird because they show 10, they show Mitch looking at 10, then you see him run out. It looks like he's running right at Lily to, like...
attack her.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know what you were doing, but it was stupid.
Yeah, he made a mistake and now he's dead. You fight a little bit inside the schoolyard, but then you retreat into the house. And you're running up the staircase as Abel and 2 of the other soldiers come in. And you kill the dude soldier with the bricks.
Worked well.
Which was cool. Yeah, smashed him. He's very dead.
Yep.
That was cool. Then the next soldier's kind of coming after you, and you like push the couch into her and like pin her against the wall. But you leave her there, which I was kind of disappointed by.
Yeah,
I feel like someone should have had the double tap after that.
Yep, for sure. Should have killed her.
Like stabbed her or shot her with something or threw a rock at her. It seemed like there should have been something after that. Like you pinned her, finished the job.
Yep, because she was only stunned.
You're right.
She was probably back in the fight minutes later.
Right, that's what I would think. So that was a little bit of a bummer. Someone should have finished it. But you end up fighting Abel in the office, Marlon's office. You're fighting him in there. There's a bit of a fire going on because he threw a Molotov cocktail up towards there.
Yeah.
And so you get a fight of you and him and AJ kind of going at it.
Yeah.
And I think they should have made him a little easier to fight, at least for me, because he had one arm.
Yep.
He had one arm for you, too?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think if you push him out the window, he has one arm.
Right, yeah. So we pushed him out the window. So I felt like for a guy with one arm, he fought a little bit better than I thought he should have.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. That's how it goes. But you end up fighting him. You shove a toy into his eye.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. AJ stabs his foot with a fire poker.
Yeah, and hits him a couple times.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Ultimately, you like tackle him onto the balcony and are pushing him off, but he drags you down too.
Yeah.
Both of you fall off the balcony. He's laying down screaming because his leg is broke.
Yeah, he got super fucked up.
Yeah, and he just like broke your fall.
Yep.
So good for you, bad for him. His leg's fucked up, and then Lily's got the gun up to your head. She's out there, and you get beg for mercy or talk shit. I talk shit.
Yeah, me too. It's like, fucking kill me. Just do it.
I said, see you in hell.
Oh,
and
nice.
then she's like, Lily was like, oh, well, you'll have to wait a long time. And she's like, I'll wait. Clementine's like, I'll wait all the time I need. I'm going to fuck you up when you get there, kind of thing. So
yeah.
It was pretty sweet. Badass. And then you get saved. I wasn't able to quite figure it out because I couldn't remember what happened on my first playthrough. But you get saved by Violet or Lewis. But I'm not sure if it's the person who goes with you or not, to like who you spend extra time with or not.
Yeah.
I forget which one it is. I don't know if it's related to that or if it's related to something else.
I gotta say by Violet in mine.
Okay. I'm guessing I got saved by Violet in mine too in the first playthrough. In my second playthrough it was Lewis, but I still spent time with Violet before and did the same thing. So it was a little confusing, but maybe in my second one, because I did more Lewis stuff in the first episode, it carried over. I'm not sure why. You get saved, though, ultimately. Sadly, though, right after this, Lewis and Violet are both in the midst of being captured by varying members of their soldiers. And you have the chance to save one of them. And so you've got your arrow, and you can save one. Ultimately, what happens is the raiders end up capturing Lewis/Violet, whichever one you didn't save, Sim, which I don't know how he gets captured.
I don't either. He was inside.
Because he was inside at one point, so I'm not sure how that
they
worked.
pulled him out.
Yeah, and then Omar, who to start the battle gets shot in the leg and is outside. So he kind of makes sense they got captured.
Yeah, he was defenseless.
Yeah, he was just going to go. So this leads to our next question.
Who did you save? So Lewis or Violet? And I chose Violet because I'd spent more time with her. She had our back the whole time. It just made sense.
Yeah, same thing. She's my person.
Yeah, It didn't take much thought. So yeah, Violet.
Yeah, I agree. Legend on Twitter wrote in and said, I watched Jacksepticeye play, and in it he saved Violet. I wouldn't decide. I don't know. Violet too, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder what would happen if you just didn't choose, if you somehow just die and they make you choose anyway.
Probably.
Yeah, like Lilliput just shoots you or something.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. I can't imagine that they let them both get captured.
Yeah,
that seems
probably
weird.
ruin the game.
Yeah, that seems weird.
Yeah. Then we got Stormwalker on Twitter says, yes.
That's funny.
Yeah, fair.
So, Lewis fan, even though he's dumb.
Yep, and sarcastic.
Yeah. After this, walkers stream through the gate, and we've got to fight him. This is where I died a lot when I played.
Yeah, this is hard.
Because you end up having kind of 2 rounds of walker fighting. It took a little while to get better with the bow. Once I got better, then I kill the walkers farther away. But
yeah, I mean, it was super hard because, like, so you could be on their head, but the cursor wasn't red, so it wouldn't kill them if you hit them with it.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This guy hit their heads multiple times, they just wouldn't die.
Yeah, it was kind of tough.
And they were like, the way they walked, it was like hard to get.
Right, the rhythm.
I was like moving all the time. It's like, God, stop, just stand still.
Right. You end up fighting them off. Violet's super out for revenge, is mad that they caught some of our people.
Yeah.
And then, but we know someone who does know where they live. Dun dun dun. Abel's been captured by us. He's chained up against a light post.
Yeah. And super fucked up.
And super fucked up.
Right? Yeah,
his leg is broke. He's missing an arm.
His eyes messed up,
His eye
probably.
got stabbed. He got stabbed in the foot by the... He's messed up.
Yep.
I imagine we're going to get a torture scene with him later, which we'll talk about that too. But
Yep.
Boom. Episode over.
Yep.
I guess we should talk about the battle real quick before this.
Sure.
Before, I guess, getting into general thoughts. But I think with the battle, the one thing, or I guess a couple of things I didn't quite like with it, or maybe don't make as much sense as they could, is so you had the plan to, like, lure them in, but it wasn't... I wouldn't think that would be a standoff, lure them in kind of thing. So how the battle started was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, if you were gonna... Like, you should have fought them where they were outside and then drew them in and then ran from there, it seems like, rather than letting them in. You have the standoff speech and then you fight. Like, it seemed a little weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think maybe some of that is because they had that sniper, so that kind of, like...
Yeah, that...
complicated them just sitting behind the picking tables. So, like, I think the sniper would have killed most of them if they were behind the tables, if Lily hadn't told him to, like, stop while Clem was talking. So, like...
Yeah.
I think that made it more... They weren't expecting that.
No, yeah, maybe that explains it fairly.
Yeah.
Then also, something I thought was dumb, and I get why they did it, maybe, but is that a Sims trap seems like it would be multiple
That's what I thought,
things
too.
of bricks
Yeah, not one.
versus one tree
Yeah.
thing, but you only get to kill one person anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if your last stand is like that area filled with traps, having one trap isn't filled with traps. That's a trap.
No. Yeah, you killed one guy. I mean, they could have... Yeah, it just seemed... Especially because they had 2 weeks.
Right.
Like, yeah, I don't know if there were more brick traps. They just didn't use them.
Right.
Or what, but it was...
Because the brick trap showed they had the right idea.
Yeah.
It seems like you should have done that. It even seems like maybe that the bomb should have been in there.
Yeah, or have more bombs. Like, it's... Because they had propane, they had a lot of fertilizer.
Yeah.
That just didn't make sense to me why they...
Right, it seems like maybe there should have been a bomb at the gate, a bomb in the courtyard, a bomb in the... like... It seems like they should have booby-trapped more than they did.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they were, based on everything before it.
Yep.
So, some of the application of the battle, I guess maybe in fairness to the game or whatever, I guess probably the money it costs to create each character and make their deaths, maybe that's why we got what we got, but it seems like you maybe should have saw at least 5 of the raiders die and had more go on. Because also the whole thing for a while started on the premise of we want to capture you, so they don't want to kill you, so you should be able to kill them easier.
Yeah.
And then Lily said, fine, kill who you need to, take the rest, but it seems like that would give us the freedom to be 100% violent, whereas they can maybe only go 50% because they're trying to capture us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it seemed like there was for sure some, I don't know, holes poked in there in the battle scene. Yeah, they should have had more traps, should have had more bombs. They didn't seem that prepared even though they had 2 weeks. I don't know what they were doing for 2 weeks. Okay, you flipped over picnic tables, that would take an hour.
Right.
Barbed wire would probably take 2 days. And then what'd you do? Like,
Yeah.
made a trap. Like, it just seemed... The way they described it, in theory, when they were talking about it, didn't look at all like what it was.
Right, yeah. And I'm willing to chalk that up to, like, the money it cost to make a game. I could get that, but it wasn't as what it should have been.
Yeah, or they were unprepared.
Yeah, they could have been unprepared. But
Yep.
yeah.
Who knows?
But yeah, I guess heading towards some general thoughts, though. One thing being is that I think these 2 Walking Dead episodes are 2 of the best, like, Walking Dead anything in quite a while. Like, video game, TV show, Veer, whatever, that I've had in quite a while. I've really liked both of these episodes a lot. And yeah, probably more than, like, most of the episodes Walking Dead on TV recently or something. Like,
Yeah.
this has been really good. And that's not to say that the other things I didn't like, but this has been high-quality Walking Dead content.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think a lot of it just reminds me of, like, season 1 of The Walking Dead. Not the TV show, but the game, where you have Clementine and Lee. Like, that was just really well done.
Yeah.
It almost feels like they're bringing that back with Clementine and AJ, which I guess they are bringing it back with that.
Yeah.
But it just fits so well. You're taking care of this person who you're trying to teach. At the same time, you don't know what you're doing. You're, like, trying to survive. They just do it really well. And all the stuff that goes on to protect AJ or teach AJ or, you know, interact with these kids. I think they did it really well.
I think they're hitting, like, the nostalgia factor, but in the right way, because it doesn't feel like a retread or anything. You know, it doesn't feel like they're trying to copy themselves.
Yeah, no.
Instead, it's like you're pulling for it or paying homage to it or whatever, but it's done right, though. This was something I didn't catch this. I saw it online that I think it was Jake Roden. He was one of the guys who made Walking Dead Season 1, but he was playing through Season 4. And in the first episode, when you're driving the car with AJ and you do, like, the mirror thing, it's just like with the cop with Lee in the first episode.
Shit.
And it like all of it's the same.
Yeah.
And he was like, this is really cool. And I was like, man, that's cool. I didn't even catch that.
I didn't
but
either.
I really liked reading it. And I was like, man, that's awesome.
I forgot all about that. Lee's a criminal.
Right. Yeah. Lee's on the way to jail when the apocalypse happens.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah. Really cool. But yeah, definitely really, really into this. Really like what they're making.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, me too. One thing I like, too, is they brought back Lily. It seems like in each season I guess, except the first one, they bring someone back from previous, like, season 2 was Kenny.
Right.
Season 3, technically, it was Clem, I guess. Like,
Right.
And now to bring back Lily, who was just this really minor character, but now is having probably a pretty prominent role going forward. If
Right.
going forward in the last 3 chapters or whatever.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It seems like she's kind of the
2
arch
chapters.
villain.
Yeah.
Of sorts.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is cool. It's a good way to do a callback. You know, because sometimes shows do callbacks or games do callbacks that are bad, but this seems like a pretty good one. Like, I mean, I guess if it's been 8 years, I mean, she was probably like 20s to early 30s, but now she's probably closer to mid 30s to 40s, like depending how old she was. So it's like, and she survived for a long time too, just like you. So it's kind of a thing. Oh, this is a side comment because of it. Just reminded me of it. But something I didn't like when we were fighting Abel was he said, "I hate when weak people like you get to survive," or something like. Bitch, it's been 8 years into the apocalypse or more. Like, no one here is weak anymore. Like, there might be some people who are lucky, but not really. Like, if you've survived this long, like several thousand days at this point, no one's weak anymore. Like, if you've made it, you, in one sense, deserve to be here. Like, you would have died a long time ago if you were weak.
Yep, and look at you. You have one arm, bitch. You're weak. Like,
right.
You got pushed out of a window by a little girl. Like,
I was just like, this is a dumb critique. Like,
didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Another thing in this episode was Sad Rosie on Marlon's grave.
Yeah.
That was a huge bummer.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that poor dog. But then she like saved us later, and I like petted her, and she was happy. So after that, or you know, earlier in the game stuff. So that was good. But seeing her sad about Marlon made me sad for Marlon. Even though he sucks, but
I kind of was sad. I was like, whatever.
Poor dog.
Dog will forget. It's really minor. But yeah, Abel had some really bad luck. He like got his arm cut off because of walker bites. got stabbed in the eye, broke his leg, got bit by Rosie really hard, which I imagine would hurt.
Yeah.
So he just got super fucked up, and then now he's captured and probably gonna get tortured. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like him at all, but like, that dude just, man, I feel like every time we've seen him, he's just getting fucked up somehow.
Right.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like,
He's about to have peg everything.
yeah, seriously. Yep.
Also, this was something I didn't notice or didn't like consciously notice in the first episode, but all the subtitles are different colors, which I thought was pretty cool. Violet's is violet, Lewis's was green, yours is white, AJ's was another color. I thought that was pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't notice that, and I don't know if other games do that, and I just never observed it, but I happened to when I was playing this, and I was like, oh, I like that. And it's kind of rubies were pinkish, I think.
Yeah.
So it was cool, and I think 10s were blue. So it was
Yeah, they were blue.
It's cool that they did that. And I thought that was a cool, nice little touch.
Yeah, I don't know if I do not know for sure if the other games were like that. I assume they were. I just never picked up on it either.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I have one more thought, but we're gonna talk about it
Okay.
after comments. I'll just say it now. Yeah, I really hope that this game gets finished. Like, I'd be pretty bummed if they just end it here. Like, probably mid-climax of the game, you know, like...
Right.
So, yeah, we can talk about that, but...
Yeah, I hope it gets finished, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a good direction, and I like the game a lot.
I also asked just kind of for some general comments for people on the episode. So, Walter Gaming on Twitter said, "Good enough. Glad Lily came back, but annoyed I don't feel attachment to any of the characters that for or disappear." So I think referring to the characters that get captured.
Yeah.
So Lewis, Violet, and so forth.
Yeah.
Don't really like them, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Casual Run Gaming on Twitter. I thought it was great. I'm holding out hope that we get to see how the story progresses. Yeah, I feel the same.
Me too.
Trying to do the same.
Daniel on Twitter said a lot better than the first episode. So
Yeah, interesting.
yeah,
There's more action for sure.
yeah, definitely more action.
Yeah.
And maybe because you know the characters a little more. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's fair. FL Smith on Twitter loved it.
All right.
So updates.
Cool. So that kind of covers the game. We wanted to do a little bit of update from on the Telltale situation at large of are they closed for good? Is Walking Dead dead? Is what's going to happen? Whatever.
Yep.
So statement from Telltale they put out last week is, "Hi everyone, we have a Walking Dead update for you. Multiple partners have come forward to express interest in helping to see the final season through to completion. While we can't make any promises, we are actively working towards a solution that will allow episodes 3 and 4 to be completed and released in some form. In the meantime, episode 2 will release tomorrow as planned." So they released this on Monday when the episode came out Tuesday. So I guess the big takeaways from that are that people have reached out to them about potentially finishing it, so it's not dead and over necessarily, and then released in some form.
Yeah.
I guess companies to come forward, I don't have tons of speculation other than Skybound, Robert Kirkman's company, he's the guy who made Walking Dead. I imagine he wants to protect all Walking Dead brands across the board.
Yeah.
If your name goes to shit or if you don't complete things you said you would or whatever, I imagine he's going to throw some chunk of change towards getting this wrapped up, even if he doesn't make more money just to keep Walking Dead fans happy.
Yeah.
That's what I would probably do if I was him.
Yeah.
Unless he thinks his games suck, but I would guess he doesn't.
Probably not. At least not this one.
Right.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of I don't have much hope. Kind of cynical about this response. I don't really believe they're going to try that hard to get it finished because they seem like a shitty company. I mean, I've liked the games I've played from them, but they just, I don't know. I don't really trust that they're going to actually do much.
Yeah.
Just based on how they just fired people and we're closing down, and it sounds like from other shit I've read, it's like a bad company, bad work environment. People didn't like it there,
right.
Shit like that. So I don't know. I'm kind of cynical about it, but
I wonder if part of it is that if they just basically have to sign it off, so they I wonder if it would almost be they forego their rights or a thing like that to get it finished. So essentially what it could be is company number 2 shows up, Skybound says, "We'll pay for it." And Telltale's like, "Yeah, cool, get us out of this mess," and kind of passes it off. And then company number 2 could either use their own people, or theoretically they could just hire back all the Telltale employees on a like short-term basis to wrap up the game.
Yeah, I could see them doing that.
Which, because you would think for Telltale Games, they probably want this done, and like maybe know that they can't and won't make any money on it anymore. But like, just to get it done so people aren't like, fuck you guys for not doing this.
Yeah, I could see them not caring. It's just like, well, because they're not going to get they're not going to get screwed anymore. They're already in this lawsuit. We'll see later, but
right.
I think I'd just see them being like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the company other than what I've read in all of this situation.
Right. No, yeah. The other thing that has me wonder is, so allowing episode 3 and 4 to be released in some form. That could be interesting, so that could mean the game will come out as it should. That could mean we maybe get a comic book version, I would think. That could mean we get like a video of sorts, or I wonder if we could end up kind of with, remember before the game starts and you do sort of that interactive story thing where you answer questions like, did you do this or that, and it kind of informs how it goes. Yeah. I wonder if something like that could get made.
Interesting.
I feel like it opens up the possibility that something could happen, or could they just release the script for what they were going to do? Like, okay, here's the scripts. Do you want to read them? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Better than nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what it means. I would assume that they would do something. I hope that we get the episodes. That's what I definitely want, especially with how good it's been to play. But it seems like there's a lot of potential options. Even if they do the laziest, shittiest one, like, here's the script, see ya. Like, because then they don't have to do anything besides release PDFs.
Easy, yeah. Which hopefully they would be willing to do so.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out as time goes.
After this, a news article came out that Telltale was hit with a class action lawsuit alleging the violation of California and federal labor laws regarding the mass layoffs. From what I could see, it's maybe one Telltale employee who's suing them, or it's one Telltale employee who's suing on behalf of everyone. I'm not exactly sure how that works.
Yeah.
They're certainly being sued, and it seems like maybe it's because of the mass layoffs without severance.
Yeah.
But the company's not actually gone yet, and that maybe they're not allowed to do that, like, legally.
Oh, okay.
Versus if their doors were just actually, like, they closed Friday and they never opened again and never did anything, maybe they would be allowed to do that because they'd be bankrupt, versus they're not right now, technically.
Okay.
Or something. So, we'll see what happens, I guess.
Weird.
Yeah. And then, also, Walking Dead Final Season is no longer for sale on, like, Steam and PlayStation and Xbox and all that shit. From what I've seen. I've also seen people say that they could find it, so maybe it's that it's hard to find and it's for sale, or it's not, because you can't buy it. Because I've seen some people say that they've been offered a lot of money for their keys, like their code, to be able to play this, because they can't play it now. So because it's in demand, people want it. But
interesting. That'd be kind of fun to buy a bunch and sell them.
Right. So Telltale's like paused their purchases for this game, and then I saw online that all their other games have gone on sale. So they all were like $25, now they're all $15. So maybe they're trying to make a little money to, I'm guessing, either finish Minecraft, they need to do that, or I would hope something related to this. But again, I feel less cynical than you, but a little cynical for sure.
That's very, that's probably the correct spot to be in.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Right now I'm hoping that Robert Kirkman just gets something done. This is your shit. I wonder if he could even make them be like, you give me full rights to all the Telltale Walking Dead shit, I'll bail you out of this.
Yeah.
That'd be fine, because then he can keep it, and he could even keep the games going.
If he wanted to.
Or whatever, like just... And actually, Skybound has a video game studio more recently. It's a newer thing. So he might want to own that shit anyway, because...
To make more games.
Make more games of this style, with these characters, whatever.
Yeah, could be cool.
Especially if Telltale's bankrupt, then he would never have to pay them again for using the stuff anyway.
Nope.
It would be his.
Yep.
So...
Could be a big win for him.
Yeah, it could be a big win for him. So I'm hoping he steps in, does right for Walking Dead itself, and perhaps this stuff. So
yeah.
We'll see. Also, I found some comments on Reddit from a former Telltale employee whose name is, I think, Michael Kirkbride. I wish I wrote it down. I didn't write it down because I wasn't exactly sure if I should say his name, but I guess since the comments are here, you could find him if you were looking and whatever. He was, I think, like a lead designer on this game, so he was pretty involved.
Okay.
And there were also multiple times where he said, I can't reveal this thing, or I don't know that, but he also said other things. So it seems like he's probably walking the walk he should, but I don't know. Anyway, he said a couple things that were noteworthy. 1, episode 3 is almost done, but nowhere near shippable. Episode 4 script is done, but we weren't set to put artist on it until next week or so. So that would also make me wonder if a company, or even if you could pay some Telltale employees for a short duration of time, if they could wrap this up. Considering that they were planning to have it all done by Christmas anyway, like, it seems like the amount of work that would need put into it isn't like, oh, we need a year's worth of work. It's like, no, we got to work hard for 2 months or something. So, I don't know. He also said, all voice for episode 3 exists. Also for 4, 2, with the exception of a few actors. So
nice.
Even with that, like you're even more close. It's not like you're gonna have to recast Clementine or something.
Yeah, you just have to design the actual game.
Yeah.
Gameplay.
That's what I'm kind of wondering is the big part. And then last thing he said, just a heads up about what to do when/if the server comes back online. The way I understand that data works is everyone that finished the episode would have to boot up the game one more time to allow it to send the choices to data through again. I'm not sure if you use the refresh button, but it wouldn't hurt. It takes time for the server to tally it up, so you wouldn't see it immediately. So this was a shock when I ended the episode, is that there weren't stats, and I'm like, what the hell? So I went online and asked around, and then I saw this, and so all those employees don't work there, which I don't know who at Telltale fucked up and didn't keep the data guy on with an episode about to come out, but
well, clearly the whole company
but also, how doesn't someone else know how to do that? You would think of, I've never played the Minecraft games, but you would think that they also have a data system where they break down choices. Why the fuck doesn't that guy know how to do it? Someone just needs to probably click a button on an Excel sheet to get
update
this shit.
it.
Yeah, just get that shit updated. But I'm glad he had that information though and shared that. And hopefully when episode 3 comes out, if it does, that we can just refresh. And I guess if there's big noteworthy stuff on stats, if we ever find out, we'll talk about the ones from episode 2 in the future if they're relevant, since we had to kind of guess. But
I bet the choices were pretty close to what they actually were.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that I'm really interested in the percentages, what percent of people did what. Who saved Lewis versus who saved...
I bet it's way higher saving... Jesus.
Violet?
God, yeah, I was going to say Veronica.
It seems like people like Violet more.
Yeah.
Is the vibe I've gotten. But
I think people are annoyed by Lewis.
Yeah. So, that wraps up Telltale, and I guess that also wraps up episode 2, Suffer the Children, for The Walking Dead. And if episode 3 and 4 come out, of course we'll talk about them. If they don't, we won't.
Sad.
I guess, we'll keep our eyes up for Telltale stuff, and post stuff on Twitter and whatnot, if we see anything and all that. But, I guess that's the episode. In the meantime, get in touch with us on email at TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed@gmail.com, on Twitter at StoryEverPod, or on Twitter or on Facebook at Facebook.com/TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed. Also, please rate and review us on iTunes or whatever podcast app you use to let people know that you like our show, and hopefully more people will check out interactive story video games like you and I and you all listeners like as well. We'll see you next time.
Later.